Norman Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me each week at this time as we explore places to go and things to do. We talk a lot about the arts on this program, and today we're going into it a lot more deeply because my guest today is Janet Langsam, who is the Executive Director of the Westchester Arts Council. And we're going to delve deeply into the subject of what's happening in the arts. Welcome to the program, Janet.
Thank you, Norman.
The question is, what is the state of the arts in Westchester?
Very healthy. Very healthy.
What does that mean?
Well, I think that, first of all, the economy has been difficult for the past couple of years in general, but I think that the arts community has been holding its own, both in terms of fundraising and more important, in terms of audience share.
What do you mean by the arts community? How do you set up that parameter?
Well, I mean, the arts community is the New Orchestra of Westchester, the Hudson River Museum, the Newberger Museum, a lot of the larger Caramore, Katona Museum, a lot of the larger institutions. But then it's also the small community-based grassroots organizations that make a community something special in which to live. So, for example, in a place like Chappaqua, you have the Chappaqua Drama Group, you have the Coyote Theater, and that makes it real nice for people in Chappaqua to just walk to a performance. And
what exactly is the mission of the Arts Council? I understand that you're one of the largest in New York State.
We are the largest in New York State.
What is the mission? What's your reason for being?
Our reason is to really support the arts, and not just from a daily perspective, but really looking at the long-term cultural development of Westchester County. And that may mean building audiences, it may mean supporting the groups that are there and that are providing services all over the county.
Supporting in what way?
Directly, financially supporting them, and supporting them in other ways, giving them technical assistance, giving them access to funding information, giving them, for example, we just started a program with Texaco called the Business Volunteers for the Arts, and many organizations come to us and say, we need a marketing person, and we're a poor organization, we can't afford one, can you recruit someone for us? And to all of your listeners out there who may have some experience that they would like to donate free time to the arts, we will place them with an organization that needs their help.
Now, you mentioned Texaco. Is there a large corporate support for the arts, and how has the economy affected that?
Well, fortunately, there is a large corporate support for the arts, and the economy has affected it to some degree. We are trying to make up what we are losing in a small way from the corporate sector. I mean, we're affected as jobs are lost, people who, let's say, give a gift and it's a matching contribution from their corporation, that really affects our overall fundraising efforts. But we are trying to reach out to the individuals in the county, and county government has been extremely generous with us, and of course you know that we have this partnership, which is the county government supports the arts, and our job is to go out and raise the matching funds.
Clarify that a little bit. What is this partnership arrangement that you're talking about?
Well, in 1975, the enlightened government of Westchester County decided to create a partnership through the Westchester Arts Council, and it was called the Westchester Arts Fund. The fund is a combination of county dollars, and the council goes out and raises corporate dollars. And there are a number of major corporations, of course, such as Texaco and PepsiCo and IBM, and I'm going to be scolded if I forget to mention somebody, but Seba Geigy and 9X New York Telephone Company and so on. And they make gifts to the Arts Fund. We then go out and raise money from other smaller and mid-sized corporations. And then with that money, we fund arts programs. Now, those may be, as I said, Caramore. They may be Philharmonia Virtuosi or the Westchester Conservatory, or it may be a tiny organization that gets just
I've talked to many of the people who you were mentioning in the various arts in Westchester, and they all have this problem that the ticket sales are not sufficient actually to pay the costs of putting on the performance. So an organization of yours, along with other contributors to them, must play an essential role in their very existence.
I believe we do. And it's nice that you threw me that ball and gave me an opportunity to answer that question, because it really is important to keep a base level of support for what is a very dynamic cultural industry in Westchester County. Sometimes people look at the benefit without really seeing the entire benefit, which is an economic one, as well as, the kind of thing that really adds to the quality of life. In Westchester County, cultural spending, is approximately $25 million. And that's considerable. We figure that it leverages, let's say, 4 times that amount, so that the total economic impact is about $105 million. So I think we give back as much as we get.
Yeah, and you've pointed out that it's not just on the level of those things that get a lot of attention, a lot of publicity, but a lot of community theater. And I've attended very, very small groups. I was at one just the other night where there were 30 people in the audience, but it was an excellent performance by local people, all generated by them. And that's all part of the culture. That's all part of the arts.
It's a wonderful thing, too. I mean, when I came to Westchester from Boston, one of the first things that I did was I attended a performance of the Friends of Music in Ossining. And I tell this story because it was like suddenly, all of a sudden, the whole town came alive as I drove up, and people were just walking out of their doors down the street to this, I think it was the Tokyo String Quartet, which was playing at the Ossining High School. And I mean, it was just the idea of people walking to a major professional concert in their own community was sweet, was nice, was something that you can't do somewhere else in some other part of the world.
And another thing, there's so much happening here that people are, not only the local people who are attending, this program is seen in other communities besides Westchester. And I know that people come up from Riverdale, from the Bronx, from Connecticut, to see some of the enormously successful things that are going on here. The quality and the variety is great.
I wish that the council could take credit for the quality improving, and to some degree, I think maybe the council, not my association, I've only been there a little under 3 years, but I think that the council has, in its 28-year history, really played a role in the development so that the quality of performance is higher, the standards are higher, the competition is a little bit higher, and I think all of that has to do with the fact that there is a stable funding base and a stable technical assistance opportunity out there, and I think those have been real important.
You say the program of the council. Let's expand on that. What do you do? There are so many things in the material that I've been reading that you cover that sometimes it's difficult to understand how you can do all that you do. You meaning your organization. I'm sure you wear several hats within it.
Well, I mean, let's talk about marketing, for example, which. Some people say, well, Janet, why do you do marketing? I mean, who do you market and what do you market? Basically, we market the arts in Westchester County. Why do we do that? Well, it's a product, I think, that we should be proud of. It's a high-quality product. You mentioned the fact that organizations don't necessarily make it at the box office. But if more people come and pay for tickets, then they're going to make more at the box office, and that's called earned income. And so we market the arts in order to let people know that there's a good product here. And more people are not going into Manhattan because the product here is a high-quality product. It's easier to get to, no fuss, no bother, and the cost of a total evening is so much less expensive when you add up the babysitter and the transportation and the meal out.
But the fact is that people do go into Manhattan, and they do go to all the other places, and the fact that so much is available here is a tremendous advantage. Close to home is, of course, important, and travel time is, of course, important. And I think the quality is really an important factor. Let's stay with marketing.
Okay, I didn't mean to say anything against Manhattan. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying that with people's time at a premium and with money at a premium, the cultural product in Westchester County is much more competitive than it ever was. And
I agree with that.
That
There's
translates
no question about
into earned income for the...
Let's stay with marketing now. What are some of the elements within your marketing program?
Well, we have a promotion, for example, with the Beeline. So why?
The bus line.
The bus riders, yes. And it's called Passport to the Arts. Now, someone can take their Beeline passport, which is their monthly pass, and turn it in at any number of selected institutions and get a 2-for-1 ticket opportunity, or a free admission to a museum, or in some Sunnyside mansion or a historic Hudson Valley site. And it's our way of introducing new people, not new people to Westchester, but maybe new people to the Newberger Museum or new people to the Hudson River Museum.
So it's a byproduct of your bus ticket, and it's added value onto your bus ticket as well.
For the Beeline, it's saying to people, ride the bus, and for the arts, it's saying use the arts, and it works. Any
mutual arrangement where everybody benefits, the Beeline, the various organizations, and the public.
Win-win.
It's got to be win-win-win. What else do you do as far as your marketing?
Well, you know that we publish the arts news. And
how often does that come out?
That comes out 10 times a year. We have a double issue in the summer and a double issue in January, February.
It's a newsletter?
It's more than a newsletter. It's now really a tabloid. And it's published by Gannett. It has a circulation of some 60,000. It gets inserted into the White Plains edition of the Reporter-Dispatch. It carries with it a 6-page calendar of everything you ever wanted to know about where you can go and what to do in the county for the month, and then stories and articles.
So it's distributed with the newspaper as well as through you directly.
Yes, and at colleges and at libraries and stores and other outlets, and it goes to our membership.
That's great. I'm talking today with Janet Langsam, who is the Executive Director of the Westchester Arts Council, and we are exploring the arts in Westchester, and we are exploring how this organization reaches out to the public. Let's continue with marketing, Janet. I know you do a lot of other things, and you do a lot of things in education, too, which is, I guess, part of your marketing.
Well, I was about to say, let's take a sidebar in marketing and talk about education. Why is education marketing? Well, it's an opportunity to develop upcoming audiences. It isn't just marketing. I mean, really and honestly, it serves another function as well, and that is to introduce kids to the arts and give them a really enriched experience in school. But it does have the added value, as you pointed out about our marketing. It introduces kids to the arts. It introduces their parents to the arts. It makes them users of the arts at a very early age, and that's audience development.
And that's a major function of what you do, is audience. there's a great audience out there who really is not partaking. Do you believe that is so?
Well, there's always more people that should come through the doors. The audience that participates in Westchester County is growing. It is 1.1 million people. And that's a lot of people going to a lot of events, and we're not there punching away and knowing exactly how many. I suspect it's probably more than that.
Is the word arts or the words culture a turnoff for some people?
I don't think so. Do you?
I can't judge. Since I sample everything that I possibly can, and that's why I do this program, I can't make a judgment of other people's perspective on it.
Well, I think that in part our marketing effort is to make the words arts and culture user-friendly, to make the arts feel accessible, make people feel comfortable that they're going to a museum, and it isn't going to be the stodgy kind of experience that they might have had 30 years ago in a place where they couldn't speak or had to whisper and so on. I mean, museums and places of culture are much different places than they ever were.
In my discussions with museum directors and curators, there's a great reaching out for new audiences. There's a great reaching out for children. There are many programs through the schools for bringing the children in and bringing the message back to the home, I suppose, through that. There is an understanding that it's not just for a certain level of people, although I have to admit that some museums I go to, I don't understand anything that's going on there.
Well, I mean, I think the museums are also making an effort to be more user-friendly. Just as an example, I mentioned the Newberger. They have an interactive computer program, which you can actually sit down at a computer and learn about paintings that are in their collection, and efforts like that, which are fun and interesting, make the place more accessible. And our job is to let people know that it is fun to go to a museum. It is fun to go to the theater. It is fun to go to the cushion concerts, and there's an interaction, and you're not just sitting there folding your hands and having to be, quiet as a mouse for an hour and a half, which is pretty hard for any kid to do.
From your experience, is there a right way to go to a museum, and is there a better way to go to a museum?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I find that I am a museum goer. I am a visual arts person, if one could qualify whatever my discipline is. And I find that every time I go back to a museum, I see something that I didn't see before. And it isn't because it wasn't there. It's just because I perhaps was focusing on a different thing. And I think each time one goes to a museum, one has a greater, more enriched, deeper experience or a different experience. So there's no right way to go.
My own experience is someone used the expression which I've remembered, and that is museum feet. That's standing too long in one place. And I find that short visits are better because you're not overwhelmed with a great deal. So even if you go to a vast museum like the Metropolitan in New York, don't try to see the whole museum in one visit and spend the whole day.
Not.
Just take one gallery, two galleries. You can always go back. And in the smaller museums, which you have so many of them in Westchester, are very good for that, because you can really take in the museum and not be saturated, not be oversaturated with too much, and go out, enjoy it, and want to come back and see it again. I really feel that works. You
also can go to a museum and have a hands-on experience handling the collection, or for example, the Hudson River Museum has a program on Saturday morning where it's a family program. You can go with your child. The Council for the Arts has a program called Families as Cultural Partners, where the whole idea of it is that parents and children go together and write about and do little worksheets on what they saw and how they experienced the museum. And all of those things kind of help us look at things a little bit differently.
I've seen in a number of museums literature that's especially prepared for children. Sometimes I find that the best way for me to learn what's going on is to read some of the basic things for them to participate in, things to heighten their way of looking at certain things. And of course that all works. That works beautifully. So what's the future now? Are the arts getting better? Are there more offerings available for us? Are there fewer? Is the quality improving?
They're getting better, and that means they need more money.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more the arts grows, the more they need in both earned and contributed income. Let's see, you stacked up a lot of questions there. Are they getting better? They are getting better. They need more money. They need continued support. It's in everybody's interest to support them because it really supports what this county is about. What were the other questions you asked? It was a string of them.
The question was, what's happening with arts? Is it getting better? Is it getting broader? Are there more opportunities? But you took us off into another direction, and you've touched on that earlier. Fundraising seems to be a very, very important part of what the Westchester Arts Council does. That's the great need, isn't it?
Well, yes, because we reach out to every sector of the county to bring in much-needed funds to support that piece of the ticket, if you will, that does not get supported by the actual admission price. And we also fund programs in underserved communities that perhaps wouldn't have the access to facilities in the county. Many of the institutions are involved in providing services all over the county to groups. We do it, and I know the other organizations do. So, for example, we go into facilities that treat people with mental disability. We send artists into the schools, into senior centers, into daycare centers, and homeless shelters. So, it's just an enormous program. It touches a lot of people.
What we want to do is give people the opportunity to get more information about the Westchester Arts Council. What telephone number can they call to get more information in any aspect?
Here goes the phone's ringing off the hook. Our number is, of course, area code 914-428-4220.
Why don't you repeat that?
914-428-4220.
All right, and we're going to put that telephone number up on the screen in the closing credits so
Terrific.
that people who do want more information can get that. So let's go on into...
Before you go on to something else,
sure.
I just wanted to say that one way of supporting the arts, and it's a really good way, and it's a value-added way, is to become a member of the Westchester Arts Council, or to become a member of any one of our affiliate organizations.
Memberships have their privileges.
Memberships have their privileges, and it's really a nice way to keep in touch. I know we give our members a subscription to Arts News, among other things, and it comes right to your door. You don't have to live in White Plains to get it in the Gannett Reporter-Dispatch, and other institutions have other perks, and that's a good way to support the arts.
You mentioned earlier that you came here almost 3 years ago, and you were in Boston previously.
Yes.
What is your background? How does one become an executive director of an arts council?
Well, I suppose different people take different routes to that job, but I was the president and CEO of an organization called the Boston Center for the Arts, and that is an art center which has many theaters and galleries and artist studios, and approximately 200,000 square feet of art space in one location. Before that, I worked for the City of New York, and I was a deputy commissioner of cultural affairs. I'm a painter.
So many people who are in administrative functions within the arts who I've talked to over the past 2 years do have some background painters or museum directors, musicians or performing arts centers people. To me, it's fascinating that people go into the administrative aspect of it. I guess the performing is not the easiest part of making a living.
Well, everybody has to make a living somehow,
Yeah.
and few people are fortunate to be able to make it from either acting or painting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can make a portion of your living from it, and then some people just hit it real big, and that's terrific. Some people decide to go into a related field, and others do the taxi cab, waitress, waiter, that kind of thing, so that it won't interfere with their creative life.
That expression that I've heard over and over again, my day job.
Right.
Is there going to be any changes? Are we going to experience a broadening or a lessening of opportunities? The world keeps changing for us. Where's it all going to go? Not so much where's the Arts Council going to go, but where is it all going to go?
I think there has to be a broadening of experience. We are a global community now, more so with television, and just the economy, and the world is shrinking in a sense, but broadening in another sense. When we go into the schools, we find children of 40, 50 different cultural backgrounds. English as a second language is no longer referring to young people who are in school and have and perhaps speak Spanish as their first language. I mean, it's Polish, it's Russian, it's Hungarian, it's African.
So that means that the interests are changing? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that we are becoming a much more polyethnic society here in this country. Number one, and number two is that economically...
What we have become is the end of this program because we've run out of time. And I thank you very much for coming here and telling us about the arts in Westchester. My guest today has been Janet Langsam, who is the Executive Director of the Westchester Arts Council. The arts are wonderful. They're thriving in Westchester. Enjoy them. I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. Until next week at the same time, enjoy yourself.